Welcome to Glad We Had This Chat with me, Caroline Hirons. It's your one-stop shop for all things skincare, beauty and beyond. On today's episode, we're delving into the world of tanning with a remarkable guest who has been illuminating the industry for over a decade. He is the mastermind behind the award-winning tanning brand Isle of Paradise and is also widely recognised for championing body positivity and self-love. Here to spread some sunshine is Mr. Joy himself. It's Jules Von Hep.
Enchanté.
Joy personified.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good, fabulous, together here in
You
one
look
piece.
fabulous.
Thanks so much, babes.
For the uninitiated, how dare they? Why tanning?
Why tanning?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So
I was just going to jump in. How?
So tanning is an industry and a career that is not something that I was like, you know, when I grow up, I want to be a tanner.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's something that actually my career advisor didn't even know fuck all about.
Mine wanted me to be a bilingual secretary.
Love that. I love that for you. Can't see it for you, but sure. But I fell into tanning. I studied fashion at uni, worked in beauty.
Did you finish uni?
Yep, finished uni.
Swat.
Got a first.
Oh, shut up. I didn't go.
And worked in beauty, but just was working at like desk jobs. And I was like, this is not for me. And forever, I just thought, oh my God, all I want to do is be in this industry. And then I got in the industry. I was like, oh my God, I don't like it. Then I met Nicola Joss, and she, celebrity facialist.
She'll grab you by the balls and sort you out.
Exactly. And she said, I think you'd be a really good spray tanner. So I was like, a spray tanner? What the fuck?
Are you serious?
I was just
I've
like,
got a degree.
Well, there was an element of that actually, but also I just hadn't really ever envisaged it as a career. But I was like, do you know what? Fuck it, I'll try it. What have I got to lose? And that is really something that I've really lived my life by. If it feels good, if I'm interested, if it's feeding happiness, then let's do it.
Fuck it, try it. What have I got to lose?
Exactly. Tanning is so much more than just product. It's about liberation in the skin that you're in. It's about feeling confident naked. I've always said it's like a secret weapon in the beauty industry. You can put a lip on, but everyone knows you're wearing a lip. You can get a blow dry, everyone knows you've got a blow dry. But tan, if you do it properly,
you just
everyone's
look good.
like, what's going
good.
on? You look good.
You look
Have you been
healthy.
away? It's all of that. And for me, that underdog of the beauty world, that is where I wanted to be. And turns out I'm pretty good at spray tanning. And very quickly, my career quite snowballed, and I then was doing the tans on The X Factor, was doing tans on Strictly, did The Crown, and was doing loads of red carpet, and then was flying around the world doing tans.
As you do.
As you do. And that's kind of why tanning happened. But I really fell in love with A, the process, B, the fact that no day was the same. And every day I'd go to the pub with my friends after work. So many of them hated their jobs. I was like,
I love my job.
All I've done all day long is make people feel confident.
Yeah.
Amazing. And also, I just love beauty. I love product. And actually, it was an area that I really felt confident in, and I grew into my own skin because of tanning.
Just to cut back to the TV shows, like Strictly, X Factor, what did you do on The Crown?
So Matt Smith needed tans on The Crown.
When they went to Africa?
Just for the whole season. So
Prince Philip wasn't that tanned.
But Matt is extremely pale. And I'd worked with Matt previously he was an American Psycho in the West End. And I've done a couple of red carpets with him. And he was like, if anyone's going to tan me, it needs to be Jules. And so I started working on The Crown. And that was an amazing time for me because I'd just come off Strictly. And I was so used to working with tan in terms of glamour.
Yeah, it's power tanning.
It's power tanning. But from a spray tanner's point of view, Strictly was a crash course in tanning because every single week I was doing spray tans on the same people. I learned so much on that show. But then to do it on a period drama actually was... I learned about using tan like makeup and working alongside makeup artists in terms of continuity. And that was a whole different remit for me. It was like another type of crash course.
It's a skill set.
Yeah.
Is that common? Like, do shows like that always have a spray tanner on hand now? Was it always the case? Like, is everyone that we see do they have the option of a tanner backstage?
When I first started, no.
Yeah.
And makeup artists would realise that actually their job was a lot easier if someone was doing a tan first, because the tan provides full base, head to toe. So then actually a foundation going over the top can be a finisher. It doesn't need to be coverage.
Yeah.
So then on shows like X Factor that have loads of budget because it's ITV, then yes, spray tanners were added on. Shows like Strictly, essential. But then other shows, and I've done lots of different shows where I've actually just been part of a makeup team and a makeup artist budget has had to add that on.
Yeah.
Now I think it's different. I think makeup artists, are more trained. Now there's so many tips and tricks on social media. A lot of makeup artists follow me on social.
Yeah.
So they're messaging me all the time about different tricks, different tips. And when you're using tan, especially in TV, like there's no room for fuck ups.
No.
Because if someone's holding a microphone, if someone's moving their hands a lot,
and it's HD.
Yeah, you can't really have that patchy knuckles. So all of the little tips that I had to learn along the way, because no one taught me how to tan in TV. I got taught for editorial, for Fashion Week's runway, but in TV, I made all the mistakes. I messed up loads of times, and then I got better.
But at least you made them on the early rounds of X Factor that no one really thinks about anymore.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there were some shows of the X Factor that I look back and I'm like, oh my God, what was I doing?
Like, he's a bit orange.
No, just more. I remember putting body butter on someone's legs before a final song, and she sat on a seat and slipped off the seat because I'd put that much on. And there were times on Strictly where I'd put too much body oil on, and like dancers, obviously they need all the grip, slipping about all over the shop. So look, I made mistakes, but hopefully those mistakes don't happen anymore.
Tell me about Isle of Paradise, because obviously I know, but in terms of, you're very clear on being distinctive about the kind of model that you use, the kind of marketing that you do. It's not your sort of Saint-Tropez, gorgeous, spread-eagled Kate Moss looking just like a goddess.
I mean, I was on that Kate Moss shoot. I assisted on that shoot. So
I'm going to be needing all of the stories from that shoot.
I think there are two camps in beauty. There's boardroom and there's backstage.
Yeah.
And the boardroom is really products that just appear on the shelves that have your run-of-the-mill messaging. And essentially, when you start digging deeper into that company, it is usually a white, straight man in a pinstripe
From
suit
finance.
wanting to make money.
Yeah.
From backstage, it's people like you and I,
Shop
experts
floor.
who have worked all their life with product, listening to people talk. And so Isle of Paradise is essentially my entire career as a spray tanner bottles.
That's what I say about Skin Rocks.
Yeah.
It's like it's everything in a jar.
I think people sometimes think that Isle of Paradise just came from nowhere. And
I don't.
But you're in the industry. But if you imagine if you go into Boots, you don't know about me, you don't know about my career or backstage beauty, you just, there it is on the shelf. Until you start to boil it down, actually Isle of Paradise is every mistake I ever made, every fuck up, every tiny little thing that somebody said to me about their body, about their hang up, about something that went wrong with a tan or this patchy orange. I've heard it all. I've heard everything that anyone's ever spoken about negatively about tan. I've heard it. So for me, I really wanted to A, revolutionize the tanning space, but B, also change the beauty industry because like I said before, I was on that Kate Moss Saint-Tropez campaign shoot. I've been on multiple beauty shoots pre the massive movement that we had where every model in a campaign was white and was skinny.
Blonde.
Yeah. And I know how it feels to look at campaigns and go, I don't feel represented. This isn't what it means to me. Exactly. But at the same time, to me, tanning was never about being in a white swimsuit on a pier looking out to nothing. Tanning for me was about feeling confident in everyday life, but also not about going on holiday. It was about being almost
day.
But being in your underwear when you look in front of the mirror and going, oh, there I am. That almost like sigh of relief that you've stepped into yourself. And that really drove me with Isle of Paradise to create a brand that really does sing from the inclusive hymn sheet. And before Isle of Paradise, there really weren't beauty brands using diverse models. And I remember at the time, all I wanted was Isle of Paradise to represent the men and women that had been in my tanning booth, predominantly the women. And so we put this campaign together on a shoestring, not knowing if Isle of Paradise was going to work. I had my backup career. I was like, if this doesn't work, I'm going to quit the beauty industry. I'm going to retrain as a midwife. This is what I'm going to do.
I've always wanted to be a midwife.
I think I'd be a great midwife.
I've always wanted to be a midwife.
I think you'd be a great midwife.
Yeah, but then I gave birth and I was like, ugh!
No, but I think you'd be good. I think
would be
you'd be
good.
I don't know if I'd want you as a doula. I think I need you with a needle.
Yeah, give me the... well, I'd be a good advocate. I'd be a good, like, she said she wants the epidural. Yeah.
I think you'd be one of those, push, bitch, push.
I'll get a grip. I've done this 4 times. Come on. The surgeon's got to go on his break.
Exactly. Get this woman a knee pad. Let's go. But when Isle of Paradise launched, it was this huge kind of breath of fresh air for the beauty industry. And people would say, thank you so much. Mm-hmm. It's so nice to see my body represented. And, even then and now, I think, God, that's wild that it took Isle of Paradise to do that. And I'm sure another brand would have done it eventually. But for me,
they didn't.
But they didn't.
We have that with Skin Rocks, with the pictures that we use, the models we use. We've done 2 shoots with readers, basically putting out the sort of skin categories that we need, because of course on the app, if you come to the app and you're a person of colour, you can tell us how dark your skin is, and then you will see people who look like you on the app.
Good.
And it was a no-brainer to me for years and years of just looking at the same models, the same kind of, like you say, the same demographic. I remember when Dior were doing a anti-aging cream and it was like 350 quid or whatever, and it was like for the over 40s.
Isn't that wild?
But they used Cara Delevingne at the model, and at the time she was like 24. And I was just like, what is going on?
But Cara Delevingne, who is openly, everyone is exposed to those images thinking that the products that they buy
is going to
take you to this idealized world that doesn't even exist because it's been changed by a computer.
My biggest bugbear is stretch marks. People think you're not supposed to have stretch marks. And I'm just like...
Skin is skin.
What are you going to do? We've all got them. Oh, they don't have them. I'm like, they have stretch marks. Trust me, the models have stretch marks.
What really gets me going is the removal of texture from skin.
Yeah.
Because skin is like, and I always used to say that, and I still say this now when I'm doing spray tans, skin is your biggest organ. It's the way that you read what's going on inside your body and what's going on the outside. It will tell you if you're stressed. It will tell you if you're dehydrated. So when brands take out the texture of the skin, what? It doesn't even make sense. Yeah. I hate it.
Did you get any negative pushback from retailers about your images? Because the images, for those who don't know, are like, that they would be called plus size. I would call them normal size people, because, is it like 53% of the UK population, female population, is over a size 16 and over? That's normal. Normal isn't a size 8.
But I don't think there should even be a thing called plus size.
No, I don't.
think that terminology
I hate
needs
the terminology.
to go.
It's outrageous.
Yeah, we did get pushback.
Did you?
From one retailer who, at the time, I had to bang my hand on the desk and say either we use this image or we're not. And this white, straight man who...
I can tell you what the retailer is immediately now that you said that.
Was telling me how women shop for beauty and what image is right in store and isn't. I think got a real wake-up call that day.
Good.
And in the beauty industry that is predominantly female, I think voices chose that moment to step up and things changed. But you got to fight the fight. You got to fight the fight. And other retailers were incredible. I mean, Mecca in Australia was like open arms, ready to go.
I don't hear one negative word about Mecca.
They are
from anyone.
Unbelievable. They're unbelievable. The best retailer, the best beauty retailer in the world, the way that they train their staff, the way that they are in their head office. I love everything about them. I literally, when you go on trips and you're like, I can't wait for this trip. I just can't wait.
Because the other side is I don't want to do this trip. It's going to drain every ounce of energy out of me.
And that's founder life.
But it's nice to have the opposite.
Yeah.
And you're going to Australia, which is one of your happy places, isn't it?
I love myself down under, doll. Love it.
This episode is obviously brought to you by the Skin Rocks app, your free-to-download ultimate guide to skincare, made by me, all in one place, with a catalogue of over 24,000 products and over 600 expertly written articles and guides with new content daily. It really is your destination for your best skin yet. And I'm thrilled, because I can, to offer you an exclusive discount to unlock an elevated app experience with exclusive features and even more skincare expertise from me, plus so much more. Revolutionise the way you discover, shop and learn about skincare with our multi-award-winning app. Download the Skin Rocks app for free and sign up to Premium with your exclusive code CHPOD, all in caps, to save £10 off your annual subscription. More details in the show notes. In terms of the challenges of Isle of Paradise, were you generally just like, it was just accepted and it was great and you were running and that was it?
When I look back, because Isle of Paradise will be 6 this year, 7 next year.
That means it's 6 years since I met Oprah.
Love that for you.
The same day. It was all the same day. Do you remember? I turned up and I was crying. I did a Charlotte Tilbury event. I met Oprah in the morning, went to a Charlotte Tilbury event. Everyone was like, you met Oprah? I was like, don't talk about it, I'll cry. And then I came to your party and you were like, you said, my best mate Sarah wants to meet you. She's obsessed with something. And it was Sarah Cox. And I was like, oh, why is everyone being so nice today? I met Oprah. And everyone was like, you met Oprah. I walked into the Tilbury party at Annabelle's. So swanky. I was just like,
I've never been to Annabelle's and I have no desire to go.
I wouldn't rush.
Yeah,
it was a Tilbury event. You know, it's like,
Sure.
it's Darlings. It's going to be
Sure.
Annabelle's. It was, you know, it's Tilbury on crack in Annabelle's. And I walked in and it was like just a wall of like mates and they all just went, you met Oprah. And I was like, why does everyone keep saying that? And then I went to your party and you launched.
And what did we do for our launch? Can you remember?
Yeah, it was up some stairs it was like a Ricky Tiki type.
It was in an old studio.
Yeah.
We did pizza out of boxes,
Yeah.
beer in cans, played 90s music. Because I was like, I have been to every beauty launch going and they're all the same and it's so boring.
Cupcakes.
Just no to cupcakes and no to gingham. I've had enough.
Gingham. A particular beef about Bingham.
But like, look, when we launched Isle of Paradise, there were loads of different challenges. Money was a key one.
Yeah,
and I actually got a massive wake-up call because I'd come from working with these big brands with loads of money. Creating your own brand, you're like, oh my God, everything costs so much money. For me, also, I didn't know terminology. I didn't know business terminology. And I remember going to a meeting, the pitch with Sephora, flew to San Francisco, and the travel for me at that time was nothing because I'm the kind of person who would fly to Melbourne to do a spray tan, get off a flight, do a tan, get back on a flight, come back. That was nothing. But in that meeting, they were using business terminology
and
that I had no idea. They kept being like, so when she's shopping, she wants to... And I was like, who's she? Have I missed this? Have I missed something like
Who are we talking about?
And we left and I was like, what
happened?
Can somebody just tell me what that whole meeting was about? Because I've got no idea. There are other things that happen, like pumps go wrong, packaging happens, certain lighting can change the formulation in store. There's things that you just don't know are going to happen until that product goes.
Yeah.
And we launched with 13 SKUs, which is rare to launch a brand that big. And we didn't know which one was going to be the front runner. So stock issues, things were flying, certain things weren't selling. It was a roller coaster. I think part of me has compartmentalized it into this place of like, what was that?
We did that.
What was that?
Yeah.
And my friend said to me, I think Dutch, my other half, I think Dutch has really changed you. And I said, I actually think it's Isle of Paradise that's changed me. I think I'm a completely different person after that experience. I am also a boss.
Yeah.
And my whole view on being a boss, and this is very different from lots of other people, I've worked with and consulted with companies that make their staff feel like they're lucky to have a job at that place. And you're replaceable. My whole ethos, and whoever is working with me, for me, I'm lucky to have them. And my whole goal is I will treat you so well and I will do anything to make you happy that you then won't leave me. That's how I work. And I find it difficult being around people who speak to their staff like shit.
Can't do it.
I find it very difficult and I see it a lot. I hear it a lot in the industry of which brands, and you will know which brands are the nightmares to work for.
We all know.
And I'm like, why are we working there? Why are we all going to work there? Why are we making this
Just leave.
Just leave. Just get out. It's just a job.
There's a reason the staff turnover is like this. That was the jump from me. It was, I couldn't be an employee and talk to people the way that the business I was working for wanted me to treat people. I was like, I can't do this. And that's why I started out on my own. And it was like the best decision I ever made. So ultimately being treated like shit and being told to treat other people that way was the making of me going, oh no, there's got to be a better way of doing this.
You can do business and you can be successful and be a good person. You don't need to be an asshole to get to the top.
And usually if you are an asshole and you get to the top, it's quite lonely.
The fall is bad.
Yeah.
Trust me.
It's just, and you can see the people who are going to take the fall. It's just like you're setting yourself up because no one says a good word about you.
Sandtime has started, Queen. You're off.
But from that first meeting in Sephora where you didn't know the terminology to being the best-selling tanning brand in Sephora, that's a nice journey.
Massive.
That's a bit of a
Yeah, it was wild. And lockdown was a real roller coaster for us. And when lockdown happened, I remember thinking, oh my God, people aren't going out. And if people aren't going out, they're not going to tan, and I'm going to lose everything.
Yeah.
And actually, it was the complete opposite. And we obviously know that everyone was really leaning into beauty, leaning into skincare.
And they're on Zoom,
and
looking pale.
There was an amazing girl on TikTok who poured our Isle of Paradise water into an oil mister that you spray cooking oil with. And she gave herself a spray tan at home. It went viral. We could not keep stock on shelves. And then we made a product off the back of it. We were like, this is all down to you. We've only made this product because you've done that. And so it massively changed our business and changed our messaging, and it changed Isle of Paradise completely.
Yeah.
And while lots of people were, my husband was furloughed, he's in hospitality. I was up 24/7, 52 making content, ratchet content in my kitchen, just trying to
live at
and
5.
Then I came out of lockdown with a whole new job doing content creation as well. So I was like, oh, my whole life's changed.
Now I have to do this.
Yeah, okay, great. Now I've finished that and now I'm doing this.
But that's, to me, shows the power of social media for good. During COVID is when I started doing live at 5 because I was so bored being trapped in the house with Jim and the kids. I mean, who wouldn't be? And then it just became more demanding. People were like, what are you doing tomorrow? And I was like, let's do vitamin C tomorrow. And it kind of went from there. And now if I'm not live at 5, I get people messaging me going, are you ill? I mean, generally I am, but... The other thing that you're very, very big on is talking about your own body positivity and being almost completely butt naked on Insta, but never, ever sort of talking about yourself negatively, which is so nice and refreshing. I think if you've been on the other side of, as we have, giving treatments of whatever type, the first thing most people, women in particular, do is apologise. I haven't shaved my legs. And I can find myself doing it. I had a sports massage and I messaged her, I was like, I didn't even shave my armpits. How disgusting. She was like, don't be ridiculous. And I did it myself. I'm 54. But you are very, very open about being, this is the body I've got. I only get one. Why would you stress?
I think that comes from hating my body for 20 years. And I'm very open on my channel. I had eating disorders through school. I've had body dysmorphia for the majority of my life, and spray tanning really saved me because I was exposed to nudity every single day. And
not everyone looks like a supermodel.
Supermodels don't even look like supermodels because they're retouched. Yeah. But from hearing everyone apologise really made me go, they're apologising for stuff that I can't even see. I'm not even noticing that. So the stuff that's in my head doesn't even exist. And actually I realised that I needed to just reframe it. Rather than focusing on the bits that I hate, I'm just going to focus on the bits that I like. When Isle of Paradise launched, I knew I wanted it to be this inclusive, body-focused brand, but I felt like a fraud being a brand founder and at home picking myself apart. So I then started the journey. I was like, I'm going to teach myself to love who I am, and it's going to be gritty, it's going to be hard, but I'm going to do it. And I decided to share that on social, kind of just to practice what I was preaching, really. Yeah. And actually that journey and my trauma and the things that I've been through have really helped other people on their journey. And now I teach confidence masterclasses and I host workshops, and it's so much more than tan, and it's a whole other remit that I think I was born to be in that role as well. Yeah,
but it's so clear though, like the distinction you've made on social, like your channel is a place to go if you need cheering up. But I suppose for me, the juxtaposition of that is also, you've also talked about like through winter, we're very similar through winter. I can just spiral and be like, I just need some daylight. I need the sun. I need something. The constant short days are not my bag.
Well, I think seasonal depression is massively overlooked. Yeah. And I would often say I'm solar powered. I'm a solar powered person, or I hate winter. I hate winter. But actually now I'm like, no, I actually get seasonal depression and it really messes with my brain. Talking about negative stuff on social I find quite difficult because I'm such a positive person.
Exactly.
So for me to open up about those things that I'm like, I'm really struggling, sometimes I have to have gone through the struggle, gone to the bottom, come out, and then I'll talk about it.
That's what I do. I can't talk about it when I'm in it.
If I'm feeling vulnerable, I can't invite other people's opinions in because
they'll give them.
And honestly, that opinion is not going to help me. I need to work it out myself. But last winter just gone, we migrated. We went to Australia for a month, and I realised that is very fortunate. I don't have children, so I could go. And it was the best thing ever. Winter sun should not be overlooked, and I think it should be prioritised rather than holding on to our holidays for a festival, for someone's wedding. Actually, what if we went, which holiday at what time of year is going to make my mental health better? Oh, I'll do that.
Yeah, I think there's a reason why a lot of retired people go away in the winter.
I've told Dutch, once he dies, because he'll die first, once he dies, I'm going to Australia. I'm off.
Well, did he not want to go to Australia?
He is a bit resistant, but I think, slow and steady chipping away.
Chip away.
Just nagging, successful nagging, I'll get there.
Going back to social.
Yeah.
Mr. Sunshine.
Yeah.
My favourite thing that you do, and I will stop whatever I'm doing, you know what I'm going to say, but I will stop whatever I am doing to watch it. And as soon as I see you've got loads of stories, I'm like, get in, I make a brew and I'm ready, is What You're Having for Tea, Love. Now, where did that start? How? I feel like I've watched you for so long, it just was sort of there. But what started it? And tell the listener what it is, because it has to be heard to be believed, I think.
How do I explain What You're Having for Tea? Before Brand Founder Live, I was always told how to behave. Whenever I was on camera, you need to speak in this tone, you need to be this kind of person, this kind of expert. The type of personality and the human that I am on the core, where I would show and be around my clients in a spray tan booth, had to be muted a bit, and I had to take that kind of force into being a front-facing founder.
Corporate brand founder Jules.
So I then was like, I am not showing this crazy, wild, creative side of myself. How do I do it? I'm also a diehard Northerner, and Northern energy and chatting about food is something that literally is in our DNA. I want to know what you're eating.
Yeah.
So then I think it was pre-lockdown, and I was like, I wonder what everyone's actually having for their tea. And the answers were rogue. And I was like, wait, this is rat shit.
This is a thing.
This is a thing.
This is a thing.
So I decided to really take it into my hands to act it out. I think it's grown arms and legs, and I think it's really taken shape and gone into itself. I've taken it off social a few times because I've had a mental wobble and not really felt like people want to see it, or it doesn't fit with what I'm supposed to be doing.
They do want to see it.
And actually, I got to the point this year, I was like, no, I'm doing it. I don't care if a retailer doesn't understand it. I don't care if someone in beauty doesn't really understand what I'm doing. Whatever, it's my channel, I'll do what I like. So if you've never watched What You're Having for Tea, basically it's where I creatively interpret your dinner choices and act them out. Usually it's on a Friday. Again, everything that I do on my channel is literally just designed to make you feel great. I have people message like, I am screaming laughing.
Yeah.
How nice.
How screaming
lovely.
laughing. And you go from one to the other. Like, you think, oh my God, I'm going to die. And the next one is worse. Because you also do it in a plethora of different accents.
Yeah.
Which in itself would be funny if you were just reading a book.
I'm quite talented. I can go from Welsh. I can go Bristolian. I can't do Irish, but I can do Australian as well.
But it's the kind of, when you somehow talk about something like, it's when people say...
Bacon bap.
Well, no, it's when they say, I've got leftover spag bol, but they'll, because of how many characters they can use in that box...
Gets niche.
It's leftover spag bol and a margarita or something, and you'll go from leftover spag bol and then into like a margarita. But it sounds utterly random, but it is hysterical.
I'm so glad you like it. I'm literally beaming watching
I'm not
Caroline.
alone. I'm not alone. I'll go in the office and go, Jules has done What You're Having for Tea.
But I love being stupid on social, and I need it for my mental health just as much as I need to make other people laugh. And that element of this booth of truth, the part of my career that was all about making people feel good, naked, that I don't really do loads of spray tans anymore. I miss that. I miss the chat. I miss being together. I miss being stupid and not really having anyone tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And so What Are You Having for Tea is almost like fills that gap for me.
Is there a misconception about you?
Often people think that they know me because I share so much on social, and but I don't share everything. No. I only share what I want to.
Exactly.
But I think that's nice, and I like that actually the hard work's done. I think people naturally think that I'm hugely extroverted, and I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm an introverted extrovert.
That's me to a T.
And I think that throws people sometimes. People are often thrown about how tall I am as well. I'm 6'1". It really knocks them off. They're like, "You're so tall."
It's bizarre, isn't it? You're like, I get that from people who've only ever seen me on an Instagram frame, but people I know in real life too. I was at a manufacturer yesterday, and a manufacturer I've met numerous times. He was like, "I don't think I've ever realised how tall you are." I was like, "You've met me more than once." How? What am I just standing straighter?
Are you just doing seated meetings?
Am I just standing straighter? I don't know.
The Cuban really messed you up that day, I'll say.
I mean, but I get the same thing. I get people assuming I'm going to be... Is there a misconception about you? The misconception about me is loud, mouthy, doesn't care. And actually, it's the complete opposite. I can be mouthy when I need to be, but I'm never happier than when I'm just lying on the sofa and it's quiet and...
Well, that's the element of recharge. And I think that is, again, something that's overlooked, that actually we don't have to be go, go, go all the time. We can just have these moments of recharging. My friend Lucy Sheridan said to me, what season are you in right now? It might be spring outside, but where are you right now? And in winter, just gone, well, yes, I was in Australia. I got back in January, but I was in summer. I had the podcast coming out. I had loads of things in the pipeline that I was like, right, it's churning out. And then I might go into autumn for a bit. I might go back into winter. I don't know. It changes all the time.
That's a really good way of thinking about it, because I do that. I literally have the 4-season playlist, and it depends what mood I'm in on the day that I play.
Yeah.
Do you have bands that are certain things? Like Lana Del Rey for me is summer.
Oh, Lana Del Rey, she's autumn for me.
Really?
And I can't listen to Lana Del Rey when I'm commuting. I need her just in the car on my own on a long drive. Yeah.
No, commuting for me has to be energetic. I play like my loud, violent, aggressive playlist if I'm on public transport.
It's an Ariana Grande or a techno for me to commute to.
And no, when Trump got in, I was on a commute when they announced, and I was literally playing Slayer and Rage Against the Machine. I was so angry. What's your biggest but weirdest ick? I'll give you an example. KG, who used to work with us, hers was people who chase money down the road. So if you're getting money up and someone drops a note and they run after the note, she was like, I can't, it'll be a 50, I'll just leave it. I'm not running, I'm not doing it. So every time anyone dropped anything in the office, we go, leave it, KG will get it. She'd be like, I ain't getting it. Like the weirdest ick.
I have so many icks.
I have so many.
The
most controversial for me is David Attenborough, but it's with good reason.
Okay.
The man himself, legend, lovely old granddad, get it.
Never met him. Could be a right arsehole, you never know.
My beef with David Attenborough, and I can't watch any of his shows, is because it's always animals, clearly. They're either shagging or dying, and I don't want to watch either.
Fine.
So I'll say to Jim, what's he doing? He'll go, you don't want to watch it. And I'm like, thank you very much, because he knows. It's either they're tearing each other limb from limb, and he goes, well, Mother Nature takes its course. And you're like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, no.
Or there's just constant shagging. So mine is David Attenborough. I'm putting him in the pot.
One of my icks is when people run for a bus, but the bus goes, and then they have to do this weird stopping run. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't watch that. It's so weird. And again, like when people cross the road or when I do it, I can walk so normally crossing a road. The moment a car is waiting for me, I do this like weird hobble walk, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm giving myself the ick.
But we all do that.
Eating bananas on public transport.
Why would you do that?
I want to gouge your eyes out.
Why would you eat a banana in public?
Peeling that skin and then casually looking around while you shove that phallic stinky thing in your mouth. Disgusting behaviour. I also hate the feeling of like velvet.
Mine's cotton wool. Cotton wool.
Can't bear it.
Cotton wool. I can't even... If I'm getting my nails done, she'll go, brace. She has to say brace because I have to go... Like, it's horrendous.
I also cannot stand men who walk down the street with their hand down their trousers. What are you looking for down there?
Or
it's not Gulliver's Travels.
Anything with a hand down the trousers.
No.
Like Jim, that's how he relaxes.
I'm like, what's down there?
What are you doing?
Like, I get it, but like, where are we going?
What are you doing?
Yeah, no.
Or adjusting yourself. Like, can you imagine the horror?
It's like raiding the Lost Ark, isn't it?
Well, like, if women sat... you'd be like, what are you doing? Yeah, it's the same for you, lads. What are you doing? Put your hands away.
It's barbaric and no one needs to see it.
I'm so glad we had that discussion. Okay,
great.
Right. Have you ever had like a beauty disaster for you personally, like a faux pas?
Yeah.
Not when you're working and like giving people streaky tans,
no.
But for you.
I think my entire university years were faux pas. Was a big fan of the asymmetrical haircut.
Mine was a perm.
love that for you.
No, it's really hysterical. Al keeps it as her picture of me on her phone.
I would like to see that.
I'll show you.
Asymmetric hair where it was bleach blonde, white, and then petrol blue underneath.
Wow.
And like the Jean Paul Gaultier matte bronzer, which just made me look like a bit of chipboard. And you know when people share their university photos online, they're like, what was I thinking? I'm like, no, I can't even share them. No. I can't even revisit that, and things just should not be seen.
Like, no, it's a no from me, Sharon.
It was just the dark years, the savage years.
What is your current skincare routine? I'm
glad you sat down.
Oh, no.
No.
Don't do it to me, Jules.
I chop and change my skincare all the time. I know, look at Hirons pulling her face.
I'm ready.
No, I love your Ultra Rich moisturiser.
Thanks.
That was back-to-back 3 pots on the go. I'm on Elemis at the moment, but I'll go back to Ultra Rich.
That's fine.
I love a gel cleanser, but I'm not loyal with my cleansers because I'm like, a cleanser is just cleansing me. I don't even say it.
I mean, a self-tan's just giving me colour. It's no big deal.
Fine. But I'm not essentially brand loyal. I don't use everything from the same brand. I use lots of different things.
It's not 1982.
But I also, when you're tanning, it then massively affects when you can use your retinoids and your AHAs. So for me, it's like this song and dance constantly between acids, tanning, SPF. Like, it's all over the shop.
It's the same. I do that now because if I don't have your drops, which I don't have, I've run out, which is why I put on my Instagram last week that I look like one of the gentlemen from Buffy. You know, where they're floating and they look like basically a Skeletor with big black eyes. That was me because I didn't have any of your product.
That's actually a common question that I get asked. How do I alternate retinoids and tan? For me, I always say, do your retinoids three nights on the trot and then skip a night and do tan and then go again. But also in the day is fine. Just alternate.
Have you got anything big coming up this year that we need to know about?
Well,
What's happening next with Aoife?
We just launched 2 new products. A Sunny Serum, which is an instant face bronzer.
Didn't that sell out like immediately?
Sold out in Sephora instantly. I mean, you don't know how a product's going to do. And we were like, yeah, we think this is amazing. Like, we really believe in it. And you put it out and you're like, could either get lost or she's either going to love it. Notice how I'm using she's either going to love it like they did in the Sephora meeting. Did
you do any particular marketing around that?
We teased it on social, and I think the tease really works. We have done marketing, and it does suit every skin tone. And I think that with that kind of product at that kind of price point, TikTok's really been key for us.
Yeah.
But it's sold out in Sephora. It then has almost sold out on Look Fantastic. We're having to restock it. Gradual Tan is doing really well. So everything's great. I think this year, tanning is obviously a focus, but also I'm doing confidence workshops, and our next one is in Glasgow in June. So working towards that. Lots of things in the pipeline, as always.
Oh, well, I know how busy you are, so thank you for coming and sitting here with me.
It's been an honour.
And I love you, and thank you for being
love
Mr.
You too.
Cheery.
Love you
and,
too. So soft. Caroline's hands are so soft. Oh my God. That really took me by surprise. Not that I was expecting scales, but wow, they are frictionless.
For hands that do dishes can be soft. What was that ad? What's that? Mild green, fairy liquid. Yeah. Just aged myself 70 years there. Thank you, Mr. Jules Von Hep. And I wish you so much continued success, my friend.
Thank you very much.
You can hear much more from our chat this Wednesday, so make sure you tune in. Send your questions to pod@carolinehirons.com. Until then, I'm glad we had this chat. New episodes are available every Monday and Wednesday. Follow or subscribe now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Glad We Had This Chat is produced by Wall to Wall Media.